come to the park levy. I did receive back, it was given to me, the certificate of estimated revenue. It would be at the 1.5 as proposed, $532,043, such as we talked about last week. That number has not changed. 1.5 mils would cost $52 on a $100,000 home, or $4 in some sense a month. I know that some members of council and the rec board and Jim Davis and the administration are preparing ideas of where this money will be spent. It is a sunset levy. It will expire in 5 years. So at the end of 5 years, if council chooses to reaffirm it and put it back out, they'll have that privilege. And if they don't do what we said that we're going to do, I guess it won't probably pass. But again, if there are any questions on that, we want to submit that. Unfortunately, next week, the filing deadline is February 5th. So we'll be meeting next Monday, which is 27th, I believe. So we will, after time is of the essence on that, we will have to pass that to send it to the Board of Elections to be presented. And I think last week you were all given a copy of the actual ballot language.
I think the last time we met as a discussion, though, that we were going to get some more information about what that was going to be used for, how long. And to this day, I've only got a little bit. And I'm on the fence with this. I don't have a lot of, we're creeping our way up with taxes right now on our levies. I'd just like to see more information about it. I think our people would like to see it too.
Okay.
I think if you're going to be successful with passing a levy, you got to do these things. Not just throw it on at the last minute.
Well, there was talk that we were going to put some sort of committee, including Jim, maybe a few of us, maybe a few members of the community. Well, first of all, Jim's got to come to us with a list of things that we need, you know, and maybe things that he wants and things that we could do, you know, and then have the committee look at that. And so,
no, I think that's still the bet. We agreed on the last time. Nothing has happened with
we
that.
need the information from Jim first, but has anyone given any more thought to how we want to configure this committee, or?
Well, we haven't even discussed the rec board, so I don't have a meeting till
to throw this
February.
on at the last minute, I think is irresponsible for all of us.
I agree. I think information should be shared. I've gone over some just funds, as we know those are issues, but this needs to be a team effort. This isn't just a rec board running around, or Doug Foltz, or John Snyder. I mean, this is going to be the mayor, his administrator, staff. Karen's going to have to provide decent numbers on everything, what we've spent, where we're going, why we dropped in revenue, what we're going to do with the money, and collectively we all need to get together on this.
Have you in any of your meetings at Rec Board, have they ever said, boy, we should really have a levy? Like, has there been talk about it?
What's kind of happened is we've had an influx of money the last couple of years because we've really had to. We waited too long, and we've had to spend it. And I think, obviously, we're going to spend a lot of money in the pool this year. As we know, we took the tour.
Right.
Even just to do the liner. We're not talking about any real improvements. We're just talking about maintenance. So you're going to see something new there with the new line. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still going to function as it should for a pool infrastructure, but that has to be discussed.
You know, another thing to consider too, and I've had a couple conversations with members of the community in regards to this. The concern was, okay, we're going to have a park levy, and it's going to ease the general fund. Their concern was, okay, you're going to earmark this money in the park levy for certain items. What happens to the easing on the general fund? What's that money going to be spent on? And I think we need to take maybe a more broader view. We've talked about roads.
It's very simple. Right now, if you don't have some type of new monies coming in the city, in the 2015 budget, you're going to pull up about $800,000 short. You will not have enough money to fund the existing budgetary items that are on the 14 budget. And rather looking at revenue enhancements such as income tax or other taxes, or we've used permits and so forth, we're a little out of balance over there also. We looked at a park levy, which would stand on its own. Should you not remove that $500,000 out of the, back to the general fund, you're gonna have to look at some type of other revenue enhancement or some little stronger method of lowering the general fund, which normally is through, the largest thing is through employees. That's where the majority, 60% of the general fund pays for the operation of safety forces and employees. We've ran it closer to a private entity than probably any other government entity in the county. We have EMS stands on its own. We try to get fire to stand on its own, but it's a little difficult because again, we ignored these levies, as Doug pointed out, through the years of playing catch up. We did with fire and EMS. We renewed them at the present rate, and it's again a little out of balance. It's creeping up. We had it to actually, where it was 1-to-1. Now it's approaching $100,000 to subsidize EMS again. So if we're going through another round of employee bargaining coming up, starting in June of this year, May and June this year, they're going to want more money because they've gone 2-3 years without any increases. That's where the other 300,000 projection comes in at. You have to be prepared. You know, there's a couple things you can do. One, as I told you, the 5 deadline is the 5th. You can go additional week, which will be the 3rd. That would be the absolute drop dead date. Have the clerk walk it in on Tuesday morning and file it. You can put it off to the fall election. Fall election, you got, I think 2, I know you got 1 renewal. It's either streets or storms. Yeah, we have those that have historically passed. They're on. We renew them we have sunset provisions in those every 5 years. Those renew on the fall ballot. They're up. They expire. So we won't have those. And if you run the risk of losing those and not changing some type of revenue enhancement for the 15 budget, you're looking at $1.5 million. There's no way you're going to catch that up through either employee layoffs or I don't, well, that's almost unattainable. That kind of money, you're looking at an income tax increase. And that's one thing we've tried to avoid because it allows us to remain competitive to seek new businesses. Even though our income tax is up about 6%, we're slowly creeping back. And you know, logically, shortening the sunset on the park levy would not be in the best interest. It will take you a year to figure out where you're going to spend the money. It'll take a year to collect the money, first of all, because also pay a year in behind, not in advance. But
John, as you said, we've discussed it. We're not going to have $400,000 in estate tax we just got this year. We might have nothing. We might have $50,000. That in itself is not going to be there.
no, that's gone.
We've lost $500,000 in revenue share from other years.
Right.
That has to be explained to the public intelligently, and I think we can do that. It's going to be operational too. Mayor, you weighed in on this. This isn't a capital levy for parks. This is an operational and capital levy, in my opinion.
Yeah. John, I think we all agree that we do need the money. We're not saying that.
Yeah, but I'm saying-
if you don't do this right and show the people the right way, they'll not pass it. And then you've lost your complete trust on what to explain it to people so they can understand it the right way, not rush it through. If we can do it in the right manner and be responsible about it, then people around here are smart. They understand that you need it. But to throw it on real fast when I don't even know the numbers right now, and to pass it, I don't feel responsible to do that.
Well, that's a point well taken. I'm just saying, you know, we have 2 alternatives. You can go 1 additional week. So it's giving you 2 weeks from tonight to prepare this, to meet the time deadline because.
Can it go into November?
November would be August 5. But you're up against 2 other renewals that we have to place in November.
And people just tend to not.
Well, no, I've never had 3 at one time. 2, they run as a tandem. We've done those. This is what, the 4th time that Doug and I have sat through these renewals.
Okay.
And one time we tried to boost one by $500,000 and it failed on us. It isn't like Mark says, people are we have intelligent voters. they'll look at it, they'll
Well,
digest it.
let's start tonight by asking Karen Alger to put together a financial report of the last 5 years of what we spent in Park and Rec and how our estate tax and revenue sharing is fluctuating, and income tax. Those are 3 things we're gonna look at. Put it down on paper, put down the improvements. The last year we spent a lot of money in the parks. The previous years we didn't with capital. Very little.
Yeah.
And let's lay it out there, show everybody, at least that's the start of this. I think our administrator and mayor can ask Jim to put together a list. I'd like to discuss it with the rec board. I think they need to weigh in. Obviously, they're community people, some have been there many years. To feel what their thoughts on it. We haven't had a meeting to discuss it, because we just brought it up in December.
Right.
And it's,
How about to add on to that, we go through the budget a little bit tighter and take a look at what's in the budget a little
Yeah.
bit and do a little bit of
right.
slash, and I would be comfortable doing that. And then we can show that we've gone through every step, and we've looked at, all of us has looked at everything, and we feel in 2015, if we don't get this through, and like we said, these people are intelligent here.
Right.
We've gone through every step and show, that's how you pass school levies, they know exactly what they're gonna be giving people, and you can explain, everybody can explain what you've been through, so, we can do that. I think it'd be very helpful.
I think if you give enough time to provide it at the next meeting, we'll start this, we'll get more information in everybody's hands and go from there.
Well, you want to, then we're gonna hold a little 15-minute council hall meeting next Monday to discuss these items.
Or just pass it on, I mean, we can discuss on the floor.
Okay.
I'd like, what we don't have as far as a packet have to be in our, sent to us electronically. I'd like to have it in a written form and I can look at it,
We can get that to you.
you know, so that we're all here.
Could you convene the rec board sooner than later?
We should do it. I think, Mike, if you can see Jim tomorrow, I'm open to that. It's very important, as Member Strata indicated, we're not going to do this. We're going to do this the right way, we're not going to do it at all. I mean, we have their trust, I think, now, and I don't want to ruin that trust.
That's a point well taken. Well, I think we might require a little work, but we may be able to do that in February 3rd deadline.
I mean, obviously, if we're comfortable, the presentation is going to occur a little later, I mean, to the public, but we only need to know what direction we're going,
Right.
and why. Maybe every nickel doesn't have to be spent as far as capital, but we have to explain to the public, this is operational too. We wouldn't have this discussion if the state tax and revenue sharing didn't change. We wouldn't be here right now discussing,
Right.
in my opinion. That's just Doug Foltz's opinion, not everybody else's, but.
Well,
$2 million more.
That's right, we wouldn't be having this discussion. That's the necessity of this. It's happened to every other community.
that's right.
They're all dealing with this too with their parks. Because they're
One
looking
other
at
thing
one way
that-
to try to raise the revenue.
You have to also consider one other revenue source that's probably going to come up sooner than summer. It'll be House Bill 5 on the income tax, which is under Scott Holzlager's committee, and he's told me he's going to bring it for a vote, which is estimated to cost us probably $300,000 to $400,000 in income tax. And, you know,
That's crazy.
unfortunately, there's enough pressure on him by business that they'll probably take that thing through. Played in the Senate for, I think, almost 4 years.
Do you think that'll pass to
Yeah.
our detriment?
It'll pass to our detriment.
Well, there's $2
People
million.
will allowed to do consolidated returns, and we'll lose, it's estimated, of course, again, it's an estimate.
Well, Karen should put that together as a budget forecast for us, because that's,
And that'll be, probably, will impact our 15 budget. As he told me, I talked to him at Christmas time, asked for his ear, and he was very kind and talked to me, but he said he felt that when he's in session, he's going to hold the hearings, and he'll probably come out of committee.
it's just unconscionable to me. They have billions of dollars in surplus.
Several billions.
And that's the way they're treating their local government entities. That's unconscionable.
Several billion.
Puts it on our back to make the hard decisions for our residents and citizens to deal with it. Not right.
Pass it on.
But I do appreciate it. So we'll have some of that, try to get that to you by Thursday or Friday, and we'll get a meeting, and we'll go from there. Okay. Is there anything else to come before the
Discussion.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?